I'm a little bit behind the times, but I'm here today to talk about Levan Saganishvili, Hermes Gasparini, Devon, Larratt, and all the other craziness of who might be in the top end or the pointy end of the world ranks within the world of professional arm wrestling. Now, of course, Levan and Hermes Gasparini, one of the most incredible matches we've seen. There was nothing short of spectacular fightbacks on. There was contention on was he robbed? Was he not robbed? Is Levan the man? Did Levan quit? All these different things have been discussed in depth across the sport. So I wanted to weigh in just a little bit on those things. But more importantly, I wanted to discuss today who's the man? How long will Levan stay at the top? Who will take his place? Who wins out of Hermes and Devon? Is Denis Soplenkov even going to come in and wreck everybody? These, for me, are the most interesting questions that exist in the arm wrestling world at the moment when we're talking about the top ranks. Now, Levan, let's first of all start with Levan. He still is the man. At 188 kilos, he stepped to the table and he won. He was up 4-0. Unfortunately for him, his 6-0 record that he I guess declared as his main goal for his legacy has been tarnished because he was unable to continue for the final two rounds. Aerobic capacity, cardiovascular conditioning, call it whatever you want, he had to tap out and he lost those last two rounds. Hermes Gasparini, although he was working incredibly hard, was in shape to continue, and the final score of the match ended on 4-2, Levan victorious. Now, a lot of people were talking about this saying, hang on a second, Hermes Gasparini, shouldn't that be a win by knockout for him? If we talk about boxing, for example, it doesn't matter if you're head on points, you get knocked out in the end, you're out, okay? Different sport, that's not how we do it. I'm a big fan of it just being first to four, and in fact, the AWE, that's how we're doing it here. We're just first to four is how we do super matches. But that aside, Levan won, did a fantastic job, but it did show that he is human. Hermes Gasparini exposed the weaknesses that a lot of people have said now Jerry Carteret can be the cat amongst the pigeons that can wreck the day of Levan. That may be the case, but it also may not be. Does he have the back pressure to even survive and get into that position, or will it before Levan just simply rips his arm off? I don't know. These are all questions that we hopefully will get to see. Levan is the man still, but we do know there are chinks in his armor, and Hermes Gasparini has cemented his place, I think, as the number 2 ranked guy in the world. Prior to that match, I would have been of the opinion personally that Devon Larratt was number 2. Right now, we have to say Hermes is number 2 because he has simply come the closest to stopping and defeating the Georgian Hulk. There were rounds, in fact, I think it was round 3 and round 4, where had the running foul have been called, Hermes Gasparini potentially, and I think actually would have, pinned Levan. Levan's bicep was gassing, his arm was opening. He was in a position where he was overpronated and there was nothing more that he could take off Hermes. Hermes was chipping through the center, and unfortunately for him, the referees called a restart instead of a running foul. For me personally, what I would have done, what I would have liked to have seen, I know retrospect is easy, but I would like to see the use of a professional foul. If somebody drags their elbow off the back of the pad to such a degree that it's just no longer relevant to continue the match, please don't say restart. Please say professional foul, winner, Hermes Gasparini. I think the professional foul would have saved that circumstance in the sense that I would define a professional foul as a deliberate, illegal position that denies a loss or obtains a victory. So for me, when Hermes was chipping through, he was coming through with the goods, he's about to get the victory done, Levan goes way off the back of the pad, entering an illegal position deliberately that prevents the loss. That is, to me, the professional foul winner. So anyway, back to it. Devon Larratt, on the other hand, he sits there in an amazing vein of form at the moment. He's dispatched with Sandra Sadis. He's dispatched with Evgeny Prudnik with consummate ease, and he's now set to take on Gennady Vikvinia. Most people, myself included, are of the assumption that Devon Larratt will emerge victorious from that. Now, there is, for me, the mouth-watering matchup that we are all waiting for between Devon Larratt and Hermes Gasparini. These two guys over the last couple of years have been at each other. Hermes Gasparini has been on a very steep trajectory, and Devon Larratt has been sitting up there on the perch saying, come and talk to me later, whatever, there's levels to this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the arm wrestling world, we've finally got there. Hermes has no doubt climbed the ladder. He's now ahead of Devon in most people's opinions. This match needs to happen. This match will be fireworks. Oh my goodness, I don't know when it's going to happen. This match is a must. Hermes Gasparini and Devon Larratt will be one of the most entertaining matches possible, I think. Where will it happen? We don't know. When will it happen? We don't know. We know that these guys have got other matches booked. We've heard, and interestingly, that Devon Larratt is pulling Denis later on. This is a massive, massive moment. Denis is such an amazing arm wrestler. He's built together in such a manner that he is just different. He's in that category of weirdos because his hand and wrist is just different from everybody else's. Devon will talk about Denis being the number 2 rank in the world, saying that if there's anyone that's going to beat Levan Saginashvili, it's going to be him. And a lot of people tend to agree. Despite the Jerry Cadorette fans being out there and that wildcard factor that he brings, realistically, within a fundamental style, it's Denis Saplenkov who has the biggest set of weapons that can compare to Levan Saginashvili. Now, Denis, of course, just came off a very, let's call it, comfortable victory. Respect, albeit to John Brzenk. Denis was very comfortable in his 6-0 victory over the GOAT. And he's looking good. He will move on. He will face Devon Larratt at East vs. West, and it will be spectacular. That is a match that, in my head, I honestly don't know who wins. Devon has a style that could coil up, that twisted tree root style that he has, where you can't unwind his pronation, will serve him very well against Denis Saplenkov. Denis Saplenkov has a dragging, pronated thumb that, likewise, as Devon's, is very difficult to unwind. These guys here will arm wrestle for a long time. Denis has a king's move. Devon just has a coil and a high hook. I don't know where this one goes, but we're going to find out. I think ultimately we do need to see these guys, these group of guys, Levan, Hermes, Devon, Denis, and throw the wild card of Jerry Cadorette into the mix. And over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, we're going to have some absolute cracking super heavyweight battles for the overall ranks in the world. How long will Levan stay at the top? A little bit longer, but it does, let's admit it, it does seem that his time is numbered because there is a pool of sharks circling, and one of them, I'm sure, is going to defeat the Georgian Hulk in the next couple of years.